So we have what? Minus 0.333. But if you look at the options, negative sign is not what? Is not included. Understand? So our final answer will give us what? 0.133 as the final what? As the final answer. Now, next thing, I will give you very plenty questions and we'll solve everything for you to come up, for you to be able to practice on your own when you are studying at home. Now, another question, this one is going to be on income elasticity of demand. Income elasticity of demand. The question is 2008 question 9. 2008 question what? Question 9. We have, if income rises from 2,000 to 4,000, from 2,000 naira to 4,000 naira, and quantity demanded increase from 80 units to 120 units, find the income elasticity of what? Of demand. What I want you to have in mind is the formula for income elasticity of demand is almost the same with price elasticity of demand. The difference is just that when you have the price, it is income you put there, just like saying on the board. We have our final formula for price elasticity of demand is what? Elasticity of demand is change in Q over what? Change in P times what? Price over what? Quantity. For the income elasticity of demand now, that will be what? Change in Q over what? Change in what? Income times what? Income over what? Quantity. That's just the difference we have in the two. The same thing applicable to the price is also applicable to the what? Income. But when it is price here it will be what? Income. Is that clear? Now let's follow. Let's go with the question. 2008 question 9. We have the first income. The initial income is what? Our initial income is 2,000. Okay, let's say this is income. This is quantity. Our initial income is what? 2,000. And it increases to what? It increases to 4,000. Now, our quantity demand is what? 80. And it increases to what? 120. I want you to have things in your mind first. If JAMB asks you, which kind of good is this good? A good whereby your income increase, quantity also what? Increase. What kind of good is it? Is what? Is a superior goods. A goods like an inferior goods now. If your income increases, let's like assume, look at when it is 2,000 here, it is what here? 80. When it increases to what? 40. What happened here? It will go back to like 40 or like 20. As a poor man, when you start becoming rich, you are a rich man. But if you see a poor man that have more money and say, I don't want to take Gary and Granite again. Gary and Granite to you is what? Is an inferior good. That's why you will see some rich man, they will say, me, Toyota Camry, no. I want Venza. I want this. The particular kind of money you have, just imagine. So you see some superstars, musicians, they go for luxury cars. All these normal cars that we use. You understand what I'm saying? They don't see it as a good car for themselves. Because when you are rich and you're using a good and you are using a bigger value of that thing that you're using before, it means the what? That good is what? A better good, a superior good to you. But when the goods you are using now is beyond the one you are using before, you understand what I'm saying? Your salary is 2,000, it's now 4,000. What you are buying before, when it is 2,000, is 10 units. When salary now becomes 40,000, you now ignore those goods. That goods are what? Inferior goods. Now let's continue on this. On the question, which one now is the what? Is the old and the new? The new is what? 4,000 naira minus what? 2,000 naira divided by what? 2,000 times what? 100 over 1. And don't forget, the quantity comes up. What's the quantity, everybody? 120 minus what? 80 divided by what? 80 times 100 over what? Over 1. At this point, we have 120 divided minus 80 is what? That will be 40. That will be 40. Divided by what? Divided by 80 times 100 over 1. Divide everything by what? 2,000 over 2,000 times 100 over 1. If you look at this calculation here, 2,000 cancel 2,000, you are left with what? 100. 40 multiplied by what? 100. That will be what? 4,000. 4,000 divided by 80. That is 50. If you look at it now, 50 divided by 100, we have what? 0.5. That is the what? Income elasticity of what? Demand. You can see when the income increases, the quality of goods demand also what? Increase. By what? 0.5. Is this an inferior good? No, it is not an inferior good because what? It increases. If it is now minus, then we call it what? Inferior goods. What I mean by minus is when the value here is minus 0.5, it means that is a what? An inferior what? Inferior goods. Another question. When I say question that are written, I mean that it's not all question comes in what? In calculation. Some will come in graph, some will come in what? In normal rating. Let's look at this question, everybody. We have 2000 question 12. Which of the following is an example of derived demand? We have option A, tax relief, wage increase, labor, entertainment. Now, it's not everything. You know, I said something the other time that in economics, JAMB will never start asking you, list the type of demand. What are the factors that affect demand? Only that I told you that when you come across the word, any word, what are the factors in economics? If you don't remember anything, just remember what they call government word, policy. Now, look at this question now. That is 2000 and what? 2000 question 12. Go again to 2002 question what? Question 2. Go again to 2003 question 43. You will see the question as it repeated in those questions. I said, yeah, 2000 question what? 12. 2001 question what? Question 12. No, sorry, question 2. Question 2. 2003 question what? 42. Go and check all these questions. You will see question under derived demand. I will explain the three now with this one on the board. The question says, which of the following is an example of a derived demand? What is that word derived demand? You already have a big company and he employs workers, 10 workers. Did he want to eat those workers? No. He's not eating them. What he's doing with the worker is, what he wants the worker to do for him is that thing that the worker wants to produce for him in his company. Are you following me? He has a worker now. But let me assume he has a pure water company. In his pure water company, he now employs people to work for him. What is that value he wants them for? It's not just to work for him and go. No. It's because what you want to derive from them. is why he employed them. So mostly derived demand is from what? Labor. And sometimes, it's not even sometimes, derived demand is also what? Demand for what? Factor of production. Crude oil now is a derived demand. Yes, it's a derived demand. Because you are, since you are born, or anybody is born, I don't know, maybe they use crude oil for any other thing. It's possible. I'm not saying it's not possible. They might be using crude oil for any other thing. But crude oil is basically extracts from people that what? Refine to gas, petrol, kerosene, diesel, aviation fuel, and so on. Understand? So look at question 2002. It says the demand for factor of production is an example of, can you see that? Factor of production. Cassava now. How many times do you go to market to buy cassava that you want to eat? It's not, I'm not saying they don't eat it. But if you look at 100 people that get cassava, they buy cassava because they want to use the cassava to what? To do what they call gari, flakes, all these different things that come out of cassava. Understand? That is just an example of what? Derived demand in that question. And the option here we have joint demand, competitive demand, derived demand, and composite demand. So the answer is what? Derived demand. Another question is, the demand for labor is an example of, look at this question now. Ask somehow similar with 2000 question 12. The demand for labor is an example of what? It's also derived demand. Can you see that? JAMB will not ask you a direct question. They will apply those questions to what you do on a daily basis and what you have read in your past questions. Are you following me? Let's continue. This is called perfectly inelastic demand. This is called perfectly elastic demand. This is inelastic demand. This is elastic demand. And this is unitary elastic. How do you differentiate all these 5 things on the board? How do you differentiate everything? Let me explain to you. That one standing straight like this is called what? The perfectly inelastic. At this point, price is fixed. Quantity is fixed. And price is what? Price is what? That high. Yes, this one, a goods that is perfect, I have a perfectly inelastic demand. At the same quantity, you won't mind the price. You won't mind your price. At the same quantity, the price can go up. At this point, for perfectly inelastic demand, at the same price, a fixed price, quantity can be 1,000 or above. Can you see that? But for inelastic demand, a higher in price is a higher in difference in price. Let me assume that it is 10 naira before, and it now goes to like what? 20 naira. It will only have a slight change in the quantity. A slight change in what? Quantity. But with this, a slight change in price, we have a drastic change in the what? In the quantity. Why for this? The difference in the change in price are always proportional to the what? To the quantity. That is that about that.